How did the shoot go? It was okay, I guess, I sighed. I don't think this movie is going to be very good. Ouch. And Alexia is starting to lose interest in it, but we got some more done. How much more do you have left? We still don't know who she's talking to. I pondered for a moment. There's still the finale to do, which I have no idea where we're going to shoot at. We still have to do some college scenes with Tom and some old high school flashbacks. It wouldn't be too long to finish, but with Alexia lately, I think it might be a couple months yet. Jennifer pecked me on the cheek. Oh, was she a bird? What? I was thinking about you all day today, she said, as one of her hands grabbed at my chest.
Lesbians!
Oh, here they are. I just couldn't get you out of my mind during Mr. Johnson's class. Her palm squeezed at the flesh of my breast, eliciting a low gasp from me.
Well, yeah, I do that as well if someone's just randomly grabbing your boob like that.
I assume they're dating.
Yeah, I know, but still, who just... Oh, wait, no, you guys randomly honk each other's boobs.
Welcome to America! And what were you thinking about? Oh, you know, she giggled. How I was going to get your off tonight. Where do you keep your off?
I didn't bring it to America with me. I thought you had immigration rules.
How am I going to get your off, Katie?
I don't know!
Oh, wow. Okay, this is a really important line. Jennifer was more than just my roommate. She was my lesbian lover.
In case we hadn't got that.
I really like how you had to specify lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's my straight lover. It's just
it's just a...
It's
you
a
wouldn't
thing.
understand.
Whether it was just a college experimentation of my young adulthood or a completely new sexual orientation I was embracing, I just couldn't fight the feelings.
I can't fight this feeling anymore.
After the first day living on campus, there was
She's my totally lesbian lover next door.
After the first day living on campus, there was a strange connection between us, even more than just a typical companionship of two underclassmen. No, with the same major. No, I felt her lips on my cheek once more. Jennifer was more than that to me. I still can't believe this is happening, she breathed into my ear. My roommate, my lover. Wow, it's almost as if they're saying this for someone else's benefit.
Yeah, I know. It's almost like they're expecting an audience there who needs the exposition.
Likewise, I shared her sentiments, although I wasn't ready to...
That's a very romantic way of putting it, you know? I can't believe, we have this beautiful emotional connection. I share these sentiments. It's like, ugh.
I wasn't ready to be telling my parents just yet, or my friends, for that matter. Lesbian relationships like this were seldom to last.
Who the fuck wrote this? Oh, Gregor Williams, right.
Douchebag. Even if I did love the sex...
Who doesn't?
I still had the lingering doubt that maybe this was just a strange fling of mine, a temporary state of mind in this strange, new, open world of college. Or, as I felt her fingers down the front of my pajama pants, maybe I was coming around to girls. Permanently. Oh, Jamie, she breathed. Her voice was barely audible and soothing, causing my heart to race with desire. She kissed my forehead and touched my cheek again, bringing me in close to her lips. Pause. I just realized I have a serious problem with this book.
Oh?
Because Slenderboning is all about losing your virginity. She's her lesbian lover. So they're clearly only identifying...
Wait, how do we... Is it Jamie that's going to be Slenderboned, or is it Alexia that's going to be Slenderboned?
Jamie.
Okay, I need to keep track of who these characters are. So yeah, if Jamie gets Slenderboned when she's already had lady sex, then that's completely dumb.
Yeah. Anyway, we were on to the gay sex. She kissed my forehead and touched my cheek again, bringing me in close to her lips, where we embraced for a moment. I shifted my body, moving in between her thighs to get closer to her. The way that Jennifer caressed me was unlike anything from a man, passionate and caring.
Who the hell's she been sleeping with?
No one.
She hasn't been sleeping with anyone, because she's a virgin apart from...
So then how does she know it's unlike a man?
Maybe... She had guys high-fiving her and she thought that was a really weird embrace?
No, I guess she could have had, like, things with
cuddling.
boys. Yeah.
Second base.
Okay. I closed my eyes as her arms wrapped around me, enjoying the sensations. Whether this was Jennifer's first experience with women, I didn't know. She never told me about her previous engagements, and I didn't ask. Regardless, she had the allure of a girl who had done this before. And as her lips moved down my body, under my chin and across my collarbone, I was grateful. Thank you. Thank you for that. I shuddered as we remained close together, goosebumps forming all along my limbs and torso within her arms. A deep, pleasurable knot started to radiate to my pelvis, causing me to gyrate involuntarily against my lover. Her touch was so erotic and loving, not at all rough and forceful, as her hand slid underneath the waistband of my pants and along the curve of my hip, teasing the region near my groin. Groin is just not a sexy word.
It's really not.
But not being too greedy just yet. Each scrape of her nails along my sensitive skin sent thrills through my nimble body. Oh, I sighed, shifting to allow her more access to my body. You seem excited. More so than usual, she smiled. I didn't utter a sound except a moan that passed through my lips. That's a sound!
Yeah, that is a sound.
I didn't utter a single...
I read ahead.
Oh, God. Oh, I see it. I didn't utter a single sound except a moan that passed through my lips as her fingers grazed against the top cleft of my womanhood.
I always refer to it as the top cleft of my womanhood. That's what everyone calls it, especially lesbians.
Jennifer bent over and planted her lips on my own one more time, easing her tongue in as her fingers penetrated my soft folds. As a few indiscernible noses echoed between us.
What?
Indiscernible noses!
The echo of noses between the lesbian lovers.
Noses everywhere! Noses everywhere!
Oh, God.
A few indiscernible noses echoed between us.
I think they meant noises.
With her tongue probing into my mouth as we rolled together, with her on top of me. I spread my legs, giving her plenty of access to the warmth in my crotch.
How considerate.
Jennifer was a master seductress, knowing how to make my insides twist and turn uncontrollably. Her fingers tickled my labia, but didn't enter my warm hole just yet.
Is that the whole of her imagination, or...?
I ran my fingers through her long, dark hair as we eagerly kissed, enjoying the sensation of her tongue dancing with my own. My back arched as her fingers continued to tease me, just running along the outer lips of my moist snatch. So wet already, she whispered against me. It was true.
Why would they call it a moist snatch? It makes it sound like it's something out of a Dr. Seuss book.
Oh, okay. There was something about this woman's touch that had me weak in the knees, trembling with desire and overcome with lust that couldn't be described.
I can have short lust.
A man never turned me on like this, but Jennifer. ... Just the sight of her body and her incredible scent made me slick between my thighs. She pulled her lips away and smiled down at me, apparently enjoying the feeling of my waiting womanhood. Stop calling it that! Then I gasped as her finger suddenly entered me, just nudging in between the tight lips that beckoned for attention. While my body writhed almost without my permission, I couldn't hold back the cries of pleasure that came out of my mouth. Shh, she said, planting a finger against my lips, but hardly containing the sounds of passion that filled the room. You don't want anyone to hear us, do you? Everyone can hear us for all I care. She didn't push her fingers in very far, but just enough to make me shudder noticeably, as her precise teasing kept me on edge, fidgeting and struggling under her weight. That sounded rapey. Then, with part of her hand still nestled between my warm lips... Oh, those lips. I felt her thumb against my clit, pushing it side to side, making me gasp out loud once more. While still flicking at the hardened ball of nerves, the rest of her fingers went to work, slowly pumping out of my snatch and pushing in.
Calling it a snatch! Stop it! Stop it!
A little harder. You look so beautiful, she cooed, kissing me on the lips again.
She is a bird.
So angelic lying there. I wanted to return the compliment, but my current situation prevented me from doing such a thing. Suddenly, her fingers pushed into me. Her finger, singular, pushed into me, all the way to the knuckle. The sudden entry caused me to spasm and shake and moan even louder than before. Even though my quivering muscles said otherwise, I spread my legs just a little further as her finger rolled around inside me, deep in the walls of my womanhood. That's a girl, she smiled, looking at me deep in the eyes whenever I wasn't shutting them. I was a sweaty mess by now. Sexy. Sweaty mess. Drenched in perspiration that beaded along my forehead and inside of my pajama top as it clung to my body. Combined with the aroma of sex in the room, I'm sure I was a wet, smelly mess at the moment.
Hot.
Why are you saying this?
Ah.
She was using 2 fingers now, as my pelvis humped without my consent against her invading digits.
Pelvis, stop that!
Invading digits.
I told you to stop doing that! Bad pelvis!
She was fucking me slowly. Deliberately. Well, I hope
Not
she's not
accidentally.
like a predator systematically hunting its prey, positioning itself for the final attack. For a moment, Jennifer let me catch my breath, pulling her hand from my pants and smelling the honey that coated her fingers, which glistened in the light. But the break didn't last long, and soon she was back at it, tweaking my clit and fingering my cunt with the enthusiasm of a horny young woman.
Does a simile work if it's actually describing the thing that it is? It's like the wolf hunted them like a wolf. She had sex like a horny young woman.
Da-da-da-da-da-da! My head was in a blender of pleasure and other sensations that I couldn't comprehend. This was more than just a quick fuck to get me off tonight. There was something deeper in the way she seduced me and worked my body over.
Is she secretly Slenderbone in disguise?
She was calculating and restrained, but filled with lust just as much as I was. I could see it in her eyes, whenever she looked upon my body and stared into my own restless gazes.
She has 2 of them!
This was a seduction between 2 lovers. Oh, God, I moaned, feeling her fingers continue inside of me, turning my pussy into a mess of raw and tender flesh.
No!
That sounds just
painful!
Yeah.
She's causing damage down there! Ah! You don't treat your snatch like that.
I wanted to return the favor to see her young, naked body in all its glory, but Jennifer had me at a disadvantage. She was being the dominating half in this moment of passion, and I was starting to think that this was all her intention. She just wanted to see me get off. At that moment, feeling her stares against my shaking body like a voyeuristic girl spying on her naughty roommate, again, not really.
This guy has an interesting idea of the college experience.
I was hotter than ever inside.
He's just seen, like, Girls Gone Wild Stanford edition or something, hasn't he? And he decided, yep, that's what university's like.
Finally, as my entire body ached from muscle contractions, and as my lover's fingers hit a sweet spot in my groin, I felt a dam burst inside of my loins.
The levies!
My torso convulsed, and I screamed aloud as an incredible orgasm hit my entire body. I'm coming! I'm coming! I screamed as my hips thrust into the air and on and off Jennifer's fingers, which still remained inside of me. But she was relentless, keeping me on the edge. But you already orgasmed. And I held my breath as each surge of pleasure was greater than the last, putting me on the verge of passing out, had it not been for the constant barrage of subsequent orgasms.
Subsequent orgasms?
Damn.
Damn!
I need to get myself a girlfriend. What are you doing later?
Flying back to England.
Fuck.
And also, you know, going to see The Hobbit.
Go to see The Hobbit! At last, when my body could no longer take another violent spasm, Jennifer's fingers slipped out of me, and I collapsed against the mattress, gasping for breath and wiping the hair out of my eyes.
I'm pretty sure that's not how it works.
It was then, beneath my lover's weight, that I reveled in the soft warmth of the afterglow, which spread throughout my limbs and core, calming my rapidly beating heart into a more manageable pace. The aroma of my sex now filled the room completely, leaving a distinct residue of the activities that occurred just minutes before.
And that's when we got out our Airwick for air freshener.
Not sponsored by Airwick. When I mustered up enough energy to look up into my partner, I saw that she was busy sucking on her fingers, apparently licking the sweet release of my intimate folds. You taste so good, this evening, she said, offering her slickened fingers to me, which I happily sucked on. We snuggled close, our warm bodies grinding together deeper into the night, as the sounds of students outside our room became a long silence of an empty hallway. I never remembered being so comfortable and so relaxed before, but in the arms of my girlfriend who held me tight against her body, I was quickly on the edge of falling into a deep sleep. We looked into each other's eyes for it seemed like an eternity, not saying a word, and just taking in the moment. We have to tell somebody at some point, she whispered. We can't keep this a secret forever. Well, if anyone was outside that room, it is not a secret.
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer was right.
If anyone walks into the room right now, it's not a secret.
Even if I didn't want to admit it, and various options ran through my head on how to accomplish this. Facebook! I'm gay!
T-shirts will do it. George Takei might help you out.
George Takei. It's okay to be Takei. I don't want to, I responded, remembering how conservative my family was and how Alexia might handle me coming out to her. Regardless, with her visiting on some occasions, she was bound to find out anyway, whether by accident or intent. We can keep it a secret forever, I whispered. You just said you couldn't! You just said! Jennifer giggled, kneading my breast some more as we laid there. Much like a cat. No claws. Have you ever been with a man before? Here we go! It was an odd question, and certainly out of the blue, but nothing insulting, and I simply shook my head. Although I had been close a few times...
So that's where the caresses came from.
Jennifer had been my first true guide into the world of sex, and this was the 4th or 5th time we had made love. Since then, she had never asked whether I had had a previous relationship. Then the strangest expression passed through my lover's face, a sign of worry and dread, like my answer had somehow frightened her. But then, as quickly as it had appeared, it was gone, and we were snuggling once more. It'll be okay, she said.
No! My lesbian lover! She shall be
Slenderbone! Your turn.
Does this mean I'm going to get the boring exposition chapter again?
You can read the next sex scene, too.